Hi, I'm Joy, and today I want to ask you a direct question. Have you ever felt like your mind just won't obey you? That you want to focus, but something always interrupts? If so, you're not alone. The truth is, we live in a world designed to hijack our attention, and the biggest battle isn't against laziness, it's against an environment that constantly pulls you away from what really matters. What's most curious is that it's not a lack of discipline, and it's not your weakness. The brain works in waves, in cycles, and understanding this mechanism is the key to turning the game around. When you learn to use your biology in your favor instead of blaming yourself, you realize that focus isn't about luck or talent. It's a practice, a protocol that can transform your clarity, your productivity, and even the way you see life. And since you're here with me, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Do it now with no pressure, like giving yourself a gift. Because every video I create is designed to give you practical tools that will save you time, energy, and even mental peace. So stay with me until the end, because today I'll show you how to think like a genius, and believe me, it's going to be much simpler than it sounds. It's interesting how we live surrounded by things that seem harmless, but slowly eat away at our concentration. The moment you wake up, there's already a flood of notifications fighting for your attention, each one pulling at your mental energy. It feels like you're always in debt, as if it's impossible to keep up without feeling drained. And then, when you finally try to focus on something important, you realize your mind is already tired before you even begin. If you stop to observe, you'll notice that attention is like an inner space that needs protection. But instead of guarding it, we leave the doors open wide to every distraction that shows up. It's a browser tab you leave open, a message you think you'll just reply to quickly, and before you know it, half an hour is gone. It's in these small thefts that concentration slips away almost unnoticed. And when the day ends, you're left with that feeling of working a lot, but producing very little. Here's where the real challenge comes in. It's not about working more, it's about building barriers against everything trying to invade your mind. Because deep down, every second you give to those stimuli, you're training your brain to be less present. The big question is, how do you stay focused in a world that does everything to steal your focus? That's the key that opens the door to the next point, and it might be much more biological than you think. Our brain is an ancient machine trying to survive in a modern world. It still reacts the same way it did thousands of years ago, always alert to any novelty, because back then, that could mean life or death. But today, novelty is everywhere. The ping of a message, the blinking of a notification, the endless feed. Each of these triggers the same mechanism that once kept us alive, but now just keeps us trapped. This biological mismatch explains a lot. It's not that you're weak or disciplined. It's that your brain is poorly adapted to an environment that never shuts off. The overload of stimuli keeps it in constant alert mode, and that state drains mental energy like a battery that never stops discharging. The result is that silent fatigue, where you try to focus but feel like you've run out of fuel. It's as if your mind is always stuck in survival mode and never in creation mode. When you understand this, you begin to change how you deal with distractions. Instead of blaming yourself, you learn to play by the brain's rules. That means cutting down on the unnecessary novelties reaching you, muting notifications, limiting social media time, or even setting screen-free periods during the day. These small changes are like giving your brain room to breathe, a reminder that not every novelty deserves your reaction. And that's when we start to see focus isn't about willpower, it's something else. Why focus isn't willpower? Many people believe losing focus is a sign of laziness or lack of discipline, but the truth is very different. Our attention isn't a straight line we can hold onto by force. It behaves like waves, with inevitable highs and lows. Sometimes you're fully present, and at other times, even against your will, the mind drifts. It's not a flaw, it's just how the brain is wired to work. Once we understand this, the weight of self-criticism lightens. Instead of thinking, I'm weak because I got distracted, you realize this oscillation is part of human nature. What really matters isn't the slip itself, but how you respond to it. This is where training comes in. Learning to notice the exact moment focus is lost and having a clear path to bring it back. That awareness is more powerful than any brute force. Practically speaking, you can start applying this in simple ways. If you lose focus while reading, for example, mark the spot and return without judgment. At work, set short blocks of time, 20 or 25 minutes, where your only task is to stay present. It's not about forcing the mind to be a perfect machine, but about creating cycles where natural focus is fully used. And this is where a fascinating discovery appears. Attention pulses, almost like it has its own heartbeat, and learning to write it is the next step. Few people know that attention works almost like it has its own rhythm. It doesn't stay steady for long periods. Instead, it moves in short cycles, almost like an invisible breath inside the brain. One moment, you're deeply immersed, and the next, the intensity drops. This chemical ebb and flow isn't a defect. It's the natural way the brain balances energy and keeps you awake. When you begin to notice this pulse, the game changes. Instead of fighting the dips, you use each peak of concentration as a golden window to move forward. It's like surfing a wave. You can't control the ocean, but you can position yourself to ride its force. That means that when you sense a drop coming, instead of forcing it and getting frustrated, you can schedule breaks or shift tasks strategically. The secret isn't to stretch focus by force, but to respect its rhythm. A practical way to put this into action is to time your attention blocks. Try working in cycles of 25 minutes of deep focus, followed by 5 minutes of conscious rest. Stand up, breathe deeply, take a short walk. Over time, you'll begin to sense the exact moment your mind asks for a pause. This fine-tuned connection with your own rhythm is what turns ordinary sessions into highly productive periods of study or work. And once you understand this, it becomes easier to see that there's a specific protocol to lead the brain into a state of absolute focus. Reaching a state of absolute focus doesn't depend on sitting for hours straight, but on how you structure the very first minutes of your day. Your brain wakes up thirsty for direction, and if the first thing you give it is cheap dopamine, social media, messages, short videos, you're already programming it for distraction. But when you choose to start your day with silence, breathing, or even a peaceful glass of water, you create a clean field where attention can grow. Then comes the body. The mind can't focus if the body feels heavy or restless, which is why simple movements help anchor your energy. Stretching, Walking for a few minutes or practicing deep breathing are small triggers that tell the brain, we're ready to work. This body awareness doesn't need to be complex. Just 10 minutes of practice can create the foundation of concentration needed for any demanding task. The final step is the environment. Remove visible distractions, silence notifications, and prepare only what you'll use at that moment. With this, you can enter short blocks of deep focus, 20 to 30 minutes long, as if they were daily training sessions. Repeating this protocol with consistency creates a routine that trains your brain to dive faster and deeper each time. And when focus slips away, as it always will, there's a crucial skill to bring it back and turn it into strength. The absolute focus protocol. Reaching a state of absolute focus doesn't depend on sitting for hours straight, but on how you structure the very first minutes of your day. Your brain wakes up thirsty for direction, and if the first thing you give it is cheap dopamine, social media, messages, short videos, you're already programming it for distraction. But when you choose to start your day with silence, breathing, or even a peaceful glass of water, you create a clean field where attention can bloom. Then comes the body. The mind can't focus if the body feels heavy or restless, and that's why simple movements help anchor your energy. Stretching, walking for a few minutes, or doing deep breathing exercises are small triggers that signal to the brain we're ready to work. This body awareness doesn't need to be complicated. Just 10 minutes of practice is enough to build the foundation of concentration required for any demanding activity. The last step is the environment. Remove visible distractions, turn off notifications, and prepare only what you'll need in that moment. That way, you can step into short bursts of intense focus, 20 to 30 minutes, as if they were small daily workouts. Repeating this protocol consistently creates a routine that trains your brain to dive deeper and faster each time. And when focus slips away, because it always will, there's a crucial skill to bring it back and turn it into strength. Rest as part of training. Resting isn't stopping, it's training in a different way. The brain wasn't designed to maintain continuous attention for hours. It needs breaks to reorganize information. When you push through without pausing, the mind may stay active, but it no longer processes with clarity. It's as if ideas get scrambled. By taking a break, even a short one, you allow the brain to save what it learned and clear space for the next cycle. These breaks don't need to be long or complicated. 5 minutes can make a difference. Standing up, drinking water, stretching your arms, or looking out the window, all these signal to the body that a state change is happening. And in that shift, connections grow stronger. Contrary to what many believe, it's not wasted time. It's training itself taking place. It's during pauses that the mind ties loose threads together and locks in what really matters. The secret is not to confuse pause with distraction. Scrolling through your phone doesn't give rest. It gives more stimulation. Real rest is something that slows you down, that removes excess information. Walking, taking deep breaths, closing your eyes for 2 minutes. Simple, yet powerful. These moments prepare the ground so that when you return, your mind feels fresh, almost like a reset button. And once you understand this, you realize that focus isn't a rare gift, but a skill that can be trained like any other. Focus as a trainable skill. What many people still believe is that focus is a rare talent reserved for geniuses or people born with iron discipline. But the reality is far more encouraging. Focus is training. Just like a body strengthens with consistent exercise, the mind also shapes itself through daily practice. Every small effort to bring your attention back, every conscious pause, every respected cycle accumulates results that transform how you think and act. This training brings benefits beyond productivity. Over time, you notice your memory becomes sharper, information sticks with less effort, and anxiety decreases. It's as if the mind stopped living in a state of urgency and starts operating in a state of presence. And that presence changes the way you study, work, and even talk to the people around you. It's a skill that spills over into every area of life.
The most powerful thing is realizing that there's no magic shortcut. There's direction and consistency. If you practice daily, even in short blocks, your brain learns to enter focus mode more quickly. It's a silent construction that one day you notice almost without realizing. What once seemed impossible, studying for hours, reading an entire book, working without distractions, now flows naturally. And that's when the true transformation happens, thinking and acting like someone who owns their attention. Now the choice is in your hands. Will you keep handing your attention to everything that drains your energy, or will you train the most powerful muscle you have, your own mind? Every distraction you accept reinforces an old pattern, but every conscious return creates a new version of yourself. Clearer, more present, more prepared. What will you train starting today? Think about this. How would your life change if you could control your focus instead of being controlled by it? How would it transform the way you work, study, and connect with others? And more importantly, what could you build if you started using attention as a tool instead of a weakness? These questions aren't theoretical. They're invitations for you to start reprogramming your day right now. So if this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here you'll find more tools to master your mind, sharpen your clarity, and turn your routine into real results. The next step is right there, and the only thing missing is your decision to take it.